Helen Yee here in Las Vegas. Always great to be joined by the one and only, the UFC Hall of Famer, the OG, the one and only, Mr. Urijah Faber. Always great to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be in Vegas.
Yeah, glad to see the couch is super comfortable, right? You're sitting on the arm.
It actually is not that bad, you know, and we've got the gun pointing at us, so that's always good too.
Yeah, you feel comfortable having that behind you?
Yeah, I feel safe. I think I'll survive. Speaking
of being here in Las Vegas, I mean, huge weekend for you. You have quite a few fighters on the card tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we have Sumajari, who's 125-pounder from China originally, and then we've got the legend Darren Elkins and another Sacramento guy that we're always cheering for, Fluffy Hernandez, as the main event. So we got 3 guys out of SAC and 2 that are representing our team, so we're pretty pumped.
Well, speaking of the Chinese, I just saw you with Song Yadong, and it looks like there's a lot of rumors out there right now of him maybe fighting Umar Nurmagomedov December 14th. Is there any truth to that?
We don't have a date for that yet. I don't think December 14th is the date that we've talked about. I think maybe January is what we're looking at, but we like that fight. You know, I think both Umar and Song are guys that people don't want to fight, you know, and so they're both willing to step up. I think that's a good fight. We'd fight O'Malley, we'd fight Figueiredo, we'd fight any of these guys really, but yeah, they've been talking about that fight. I saw all sorts of stuff posting about it. Nothing's been signed. That date has not been agreed upon. If that fight does happen, I think it would likely happen in January.
Okay, UFC 311 in LA?
Yeah, that would be the one that I think would be the most likely.
Well, you're saying, you know, a lot of people don't want to fight Song. So was Umar like the only guy who was offered to him, or were other people offered to Song before, or?
There's been some other offerings. You know, Song's been in a position where he's fought a lot of Apex fights. He's just getting back in the swing of being in these big events and really likes that. As a young guy, and I was there at one point, it's fun to be in shows and arenas and fights against big opponents and that kind of stuff. So there was some other guys that were offered. Song was offered to them and some guys offered to us, but the Umar one is one that gets him closest to the title.
Yeah, and speaking of the title, though, I know Umar's last fight against Corey Sandhagen, they were talking about that being the #1 contender fight. So now, you know, with Song versus Umar, have there been any talks about whether this will be that #1 contender fight?
I mean, yeah, if this is obviously a fight that puts you right there. Umar's 18-0, and he's a guy that, you know, people are saying Merab's ducking him, which I don't think is the case per se. I think Merab's just enjoying being the champ. But, you know, Umar's being touted as one of the next big contenders for the belt. Song's been in that position for a long time. So, but we'll fight O'Malley too. I think a stand-up fight with O'Malley and Song would be fun. Fight with Umar. All these guys are, you know, tough opponents, champions, former challengers, and so whatever works.
And with Merab, it looks like he's talking about returning in March. So who do you think the UFC will have him defend his title against first?
I mean, that's a good question. I know from a business standpoint, getting O'Malley in title fights is something that they're going to want to do. I think with a win over Umar, could be Song for sure. With Umar beating Song, then could be him. But I think it's probably those 3. There's also Peter Yan and Figueiredo, so that's another one. You know, all those are good options.
Well, looking at the match stylistically, Song versus Umar, how do you kind of foresee that playing out?
I mean, there's no secret in what Umar is going to try to do. He's going to try to wrestle, and he's got good stand-up, unique stand-up. He's got almost like more traditional style stand-up. So I imagine it'd be a fight where he's trying to take Song down, and Song's either trying to submit him or knock him out.
And how's Song looking though? Because I know even here in Las Vegas, you know, you guys talked about training tomorrow. Like he's still training really hard, looking good.
Yeah, he's been trained for a long time. It's going to be, I mean, we're going on like 8 or 9 months, I think, since he's fought before, or that's how long it'll be if he were to fight, in January. So he's always in the gym. It's a tough life, so you have little nicks and little injuries here and there, but all in all, improving. He's only 26 years old, and the world is at his fingertips.
And you mentioned O'Malley. When you watched the fight between O'Malley and Merab, how did you score it? Because I see O'Malley trying to say how many rounds he really won and whatnot. So what did you make of that fight?
I can't remember, but I do think that Merab won. It was an overall feeling. I did see O'Malley's thing where he's like, watch the fight again and this and that. I don't even remember at all the fight.
Good fight?
Yeah, great fight.
Well, hey, speaking of being, at the gym though, Sage Northcutt, it was just announced today that he is released from his one contract. So is there kind of any update on where we could possibly see him next?
I think Sage feels like he wants to be with the UFC. I know that he was getting offered some amazing opportunities when it comes to the money, but as a fighter, I think his heart was with the UFC, and I'd like to see him back there. I think it would put a new lease on his career for him and give him something to be excited about. And obviously, Sage is always in great shape, and he's much, much better. What he's focused on the most over these last couple of years is really improving his submission game. I think in his comeback fight, it was a first-round toe hold or a leg lock in his one fighting championship victory. But, I'd love to see him with the UFC.
We spoke about Macau earlier. Yan Xiaonan, she will be fighting Tabitha Ricci in Macau. How's she looking?
She looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like someone that's always in the gym. Get there in the morning, she's already getting a workout, and then she does pro practice, and she's got, a full schedule of just, filling her cup with techniques, and confidence is at an all-time high. Her game is so rounded out since the first time she was with us, and so we're excited for that fight. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans are looking forward to that one too. But someone very well, Dominick Cruz, he mentioned recently that, towards the end of his career, he would like to fight a few names, and he listed Henry Cejudo.
You guys can all do me a favor and bend the knee to King Triple C.
Jose Aldo or Cody Garbrandt. Which of those names do you think that he should fight?
Man, there's some great names. I'd like to see him all those are good fights, obviously. It sounds like he probably wants one back from Cody. I think for me, when he says which fights he's looking for, I would say, I don't know, maybe Cejudo.
How do you think it would go this time around?
What happened the first time? Cejudo caught him and kind of wobbled him, and he thought it was a bad stoppage, right?
Yeah, by Keith Peterson.
Yeah. He said that Keith Peterson smelled like alcohol and cigarettes or something like that, which he does. I know Keith Peterson. Keith Peterson's not a guy that'd be drinking and smoking right before he goes out there.
What does he really smell like? Flowers?
He's a surfer, that guy.
Yeah.
He smells like the ocean. He's got some kids that are stud surfers and wrestlers. He's a dad surfer. That's all, with some tattoos.
Have you ever surfed with him?
No, but he's much better surfer than I am.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm not a very good surfer. I love it, but...
You would think you're a good surfer, though. I'm sure you're better than you think.
Well, thank you.
With Henry, also, he was mentioning going down to 125. Do you think that's feasible for him in this stage of his career?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Cejudo, cutting weight like that sucks. He's obviously much bigger than he was back then, but he's a Olympic gold medalist. He's a multiple-time world champion. He can do really anything he puts his mind to, I think. He had success there, in the fight with TJ, I think was maybe his last one. Was that his last one at 125s? I can't remember. But, yeah, that's where he was dominant. I mean, I think that's where he has all the odds stacked in his favor, and that's what I would do if I was Henry.
Well, we know you're a world traveler, so with the huge pay-per-view next weekend going down in Abu Dhabi, will you be there?
I'm supposed to be there with Myktybek Orolbai, and we're hoping, we get the visa just in time because he's been training his butt off. It's a long process for him to get prepped for these fights because he's a big guy for the weight class, and so I'm supposed to be there, yeah.
Well, you say you're still waiting for the visa. When do you find out? Because the fight's in a week.
Myktybek asks his manager 16 or 17 times a day. So
he's on it.
Yeah, he's on it. As soon as we find out, you guys will find out. And Myktybek, he's been calling, he's getting people's phone numbers and trying to find out, is his visa ready? He's been asking all these people that don't know the answer. So he's very eager to get the visa. We don't know.
But looking at the main event of Abu Dhabi, we have Ilia versus Max. That's going to be a great fight. And they're both, talking a lot to each other. So who do you think wins that fight?
Man, this young blood versus old blood. I mean, I've got to lean towards Max just because, it's hard to count that guy out. All he's been through and everything. But Topuria is tough. I mean, he's the new era. We saw it. Well, I think he fought Josh Emmett, and that spoke a lot to durability and what he brings to the table. So I feel like my heart's going to say Max.
There's been a lot of debate on the pound for pound rankings with Islam being number 1. Now it looks like Alex Pereira is number 2 and Jon Jones is number 3. Do you agree with the pound for pound?
That's always such a weird thing, but I don't really care about the pound for pound. But Jon Jones, I mean, he's not lost. Especially if you guys saw, they changed the rule, so his loss is now a win if you take out the downward elbow. I think Jon Jones is probably the pound for pound, but we haven't seen him fight at multiple weight classes yet. I still think Dan Henderson's up there for the pound for pound.
Hey, do you ever want to see him fight Tom Aspinall though? Because that's what a lot of fans want to see. But I know he's scheduled to fight Stipe.
Jones and Aspinall?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see all the best fighters fight each other, but is it like on my bucket list? No, I'm not like, that's not what I'm thinking about.
What is on Urijah Faber's bucket list? You've done it all.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Except, have you done a surf competition?
You know what I did do? I went to Kelly Slater's wave pool. I went to the one in Fresno, which was awesome. And then he hooked it up. Thank you, Kelly, for the crew. Last time we went to Abu Dhabi and we surfed like before the thing was open. We had like a private experience there. Yeah. That was amazing. And I would say if there was a competition, I definitely lost that one.
Wait, those wave pools, like the ones you see on the cruise ships too?
No, this is like an actual like surf ranch, like it's Surf Abu Dhabi. If you're in Abu Dhabi, yeah, I think they're probably open now. I know they just did an ad where they did a Red Bull ad where the guy jumped out of a plane with a surfboard on his feet and like dropped in on a wave in Abu Dhabi on the wave pool. It's pretty sick.
That's crazy.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, talent. Yeah. But is there anywhere that you haven't traveled to yet that you would like to? Yes,
I'd like to go to Greece. I'd like to go to Holland, the Netherlands, and South Africa.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dricus was trying to, get the UFC to go to South Africa.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, South Africa's got a bunch of tough people, man. They're and it's supposed to be beautiful there.
for the fans who love you and can't wait to see more of you. And I know you're busy as well with A1 Combat as well. So what would you like to let your fans know?
Yeah, check out A1 Combat, a1combat.com. Appreciate the support. I want to do some more grappling too. We've done this year 2 big matches, ADXC, and we had a combat jiu-jitsu match in A1 Combat as well. So I'm excited. We got a bunch of fighters up and coming, ton of guys that you do not know and a bunch that you do. So appreciate the support.